property operators are summarized in this table 3.2. Okay, now we're going to discuss about some properties. Look at the property operators. So what is this? Implication. Yeah, this is overlapping, this is non-overlapping implication operator. What that means we'll again discuss here. Okay, whenever so here, what is antecedent and consequent we have discussed while we discuss about system verilog assertions, right? So here S is the antecedent and P is the consequent, right? So whenever the antecedent sequence S matches, the consequent property must be true starting at the clock tick where S matched, or the nearest future clock tick after S matched, respectively. Getting this one? This is an overlapping first. Yeah, okay. So first we'll see the general meaning for implication. So implication means in that implication, by if you want to use a implication operator, then we need a antecedent sequence and consequent sequence. Okay. Okay. Now look at this example. In this example, what they have defined, this is antecedent sequence. What is that? $rose trigger antecedent. Okay. So and this is a so no sorry, this entire sequence is antecedent. First trigger, the variable trigger from should go from low to high. After one clock cycle, request should occur. Okay, request should occur. Yeah, request should be request should occur. Okay, so then here we have used non-overlapping operator. So this is what, this is the non-overlapping implication operator. This is consequent. Then again we are using overlapping, and for this operator this expression as a antecedent and this as a consequent. Okay, now we'll see the property will be vacuously true when the antecedent does not match, because is false. Okay, so we can say here two things are there: true and vacuously true. Okay, vacuously true means if the antecedent statement is not at all satisfied, that antecedent statement is not as occurred, then we can say that the entire property as vacuously true. Okay, now look at here the true when antecedent does not match, that's okay. Or $rose trigger is true but it is not followed by the request, this is also vacuously true one cycle later. Or one more scenario is what the $rose of trigger is true followed by one clock cycle later, but in the subsequent two clock cycles request becomes false. Getting this one? So this is called vacuously true. Vacuously true means if I shortly says this is an one full property. Okay, in this property we have used on non-overlapping operator and non-overlapping operator. Okay, so this for this operator this is an antecedent and this is an consequent. For this overlapping implication operator, this request with a repetition operator is antecedent and acknowledge is consequent. Okay, now we can say vacuously true and non-vacuously true. So far we have discussed about vacuously true. Vacuously true means what? For example, if the first thing, the antecedent is not at all high. High means this trigger variable is not at all transition from 0 to 1. Okay, so in that case we can say this entire expression as vacuously true. This is one scenario. Second, for example, this has occurred, but after one clock cycle this request has not occurred, so this is also vacuously true. Okay, and the third scenario, suppose this antecedent has satisfied but consequent has not satisfied. Antecedent is has occurred but consequent has not occurred. In that case, that is an, yeah. Okay, so this is these and all vacuously true. So it will be non-vacuously true when for every match of the antecedent sequence the property is true. It will be non-vacuously true. That means what? For every match of the antecedent sequence the property is true. That means what? First, in the first clock cycles this transition of variable trigger has occurred. Okay, then one clock cycle later request is true, and one clock cycle later request is true for 3 to 5 clock cycles. Okay, and then acknowledge is asserted for each of these cycles. That request is asserted beyond the first 2 clock cycles. Are getting this one? This is somewhat confusing, right? Non-vacuously true means antecedent of the sequence. For every match of the antecedent sequence the property is true. For every match of the antecedent sequence property is true. That is called non-vacuously true. For example, the first antecedent is what? Dollar rose of trigger is true, followed by one clock cycle later request is true. That is what this antecedent. Okay, and one clock cycle later request is true for 3 to 5 clock cycles. Okay, this also is satisfied, and then acknowledge for each of these cycles means cycle that request is asserted beyond first 2 clock cycles. Okay, so this is called non-vacuously true. An example of satisfying trace waveform is shown in figure. Look at here. We know that in system verilog we'll get some colored things, right, for assertions.